The need to be seen versus the fear of being seen, and the contradiction that is our inner princess. Now, I want to talk about this because it's something that hugely affects how we stand up, speak out, and truly be heard in the world. If we can't reconcile those two key aspects of our inner princess, that need to be seen and yet the fear of being seen, we end up being held back and stuck. We never get to truly move forward and make an impact in this world. And look, I know the struggle well. I have been on the journey myself. So many times where I've stood in front of the camera or stood in front of an audience and gone, okay, I want to make an impact. In order to do that, I need to be seen. And yet those fears would pop up in the back of my head. What if I'm not good enough? What if they don't like what I have to say? What if this? What if that? I'm not this, I'm not that. All those fears start popping up. And it's not until you can reconcile those two parts of ourselves, our inner princess, that we truly can stand up with confidence and courage. Now, what I want to talk about is how to resolve this. How do we resolve these two very big contradictions? Now, the thing we need to understand is some things about our inner princess. She is our inner wild spirit. Think of her as the teenage girl inside of you. She wants to go on her own journey, do her own things. She wants to be free at all times, running through the grass. You can't tell her what to do, much like my daughter at the moment. She is a wild spirit at heart. And she wants to be seen for this. She wants to be acknowledged for the fact she is independent. But at some point along that journey, someone has done something or she has experienced something which has put fear into her about that wild spirit within her. That is where that fear of being seen has come from. Looking at my own daughter's journey at the moment, it's probably school bullying. It's probably something that's happened when we were very, very young, which we have carried through with us into adulthood. But how do we move past this? There's 3 key steps. Self-awareness. We need to understand where this fear comes from, which means we need to pinpoint the fear. We need to figure out what our fear of being seen is. Is it a fear of not being good enough? Is it a fear of the way you look? Is it a fear of what you have to say? What is that fear? Then we need to love it. Second step, radical self-awareness. We need to love radical self-love. We need to love that part of ourselves. We need to be able to say, okay, I have a fear of not being good enough. How do I love myself so that fear becomes irrelevant? And then the final step is courage, to then have the courage to come back and be seen even though you know you have that fear in the back of your mind. So these 3 steps are not always easy to get through because there is multiple things that are wrapped up in being seen. Our inner princess has been hurt multiple times and there are so many different fears wrapped up all within that fear of being seen. But with the right support, with the right questions, we can move past that fear of being seen and be able to stand up with confidence and courage and say, this is who I am. Now, to get there, I have done so much work with people from this side of the camera, with them sitting on the other side, and just one-to-one coaching them through it. But what I realized was that this is pretty much an epidemic in society. People are not standing up and showing up in life or business because of their inner princess's fear of being seen. And yet they have this big desire to create an impact in the world and to help others. So this needs to be reconciled. So what I've done is created a program. And what I've realized is our inner princess is just one small part of the 5 key archetypes which govern who we are when we stand up, speak out, and are truly heard in the world. So if you are looking to find a resolution between that fear of being seen and that need to be seen, and finally embracing the inner princess within you, please pop a comment below, send me a PM, and what I'll do is I'll send you an invite to the program as soon as it is released. I'm calling it, what am I calling it? Stand Up and Show Up. which is all about reconciling those 5 key archetypes within you so you can find the courage and confidence to speak up, speak out, and truly be yourself in this world. I mean, what greater gift is there than that? Rather than to just be able to walk into a room and go, this is who I am, and be okay with being seen for being that person. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. A nice short one. But when it comes to that need to being seen versus the fear of being seen, which is the contradiction of our inner princess, we need to step through those 3 key steps: self-awareness, radical self-love, and courage. Love and kindness, everyone. Mwah.